Hello and welcome to Too Stupid to Live, a podcast that reviews romance novels $5 and under. I'm your host, Becky Feldman, and for this month of July, we are entering a whole new world, dare I say, of romance in comparison to last month's hot as hell summer. I am in my villain era. I think I'm in my villain era, which obviously in real life for me means I only said sorry once today. I am a very cruel woman. But for the podcast, I am in my villain era because this month we are reviewing romances where a classic villain or monster is actually the main love interest of the story. And for today's book, I don't know if you heard that Easter egg I said, like literally 2 seconds ago, the phrase "a whole new world." That's right, today we are reviewing Katee Roberts' Desperate Measures, a romance inspired by Disney's Aladdin, but in this case, Jasmine is getting it on with Jafar. And boy, does she. Finally, a rendition of Aladdin in the way it's supposed to be told. Desperate Measures is book 1 in the Wicked Villains series, which is currently $4.99. So obviously, if I'm reviewing a villain romance, I have to have a guest who is one of the most delightful people that I know. The hilarious writer, performer, Mel Cowan is here, and I couldn't have a better person to discuss this wild, brilliant book with. So please, make way and enjoy this review of Desperate Measures. Oh my God, Mel, welcome to Too Stupid to Live.
I'm so happy to be here. This is going to be a treat. It's going to be a treat. Also, Too Stupid to Live is a very good title for a podcast.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. I feel like this is a treat, almost like the magic that I felt the first time I ever saw Aladdin in the movie theaters.
It was a straight line between my experience of seeing Aladdin. I have a younger sister, and so naturally we had a clamshell, like the old school white clamshell VHS, and she watched it every day for approximately 1 year. And so yeah, reading this book was a very, very familiar experience. Just like watching the movie back in the day. I guess no, I guess there were like a few differences now that I think about it. There were one or two sort of
Really?
deviations.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then what did I watch? No, I'm kidding.
Yeah. We can just jump right into it, but I just remembered. Aladdin has the Disney Aladdin has the famous teenagers take off your clothes.
Really? Okay. I was
That's
wondering.
Aladdin. I
Okay.
think it's Aladdin. I
Got
have
it.
not done any research about this. I didn't.
I really
I
needed
didn't.
you.
I didn't.
I
I
really
wanted to.
needed you to do research.
I wanted to keep my POV very pure, and untainted by facts
hmm
or actual knowledge. But my understanding is there is and I remember it, but but also it could be one of those things that like either a Mandela effect or like
hmm
somebody magicked into existence. But
Yeah.
there's the urban legend, which in my memory is confirmed, is I think Aladdin is like he's down. It's like a Romeo and Juliet kind of thing, like with Jasmine's up on a balcony kind of thing, and they're like kind of looking longing at each other, and it's sort of like in between a two lines. There's a whispered, "Teenagers take off your clothes." That's real spicy scandal. So
Okay.
again, honestly, direct line to what is this? What was this book called again? Darkest
Um.
Desires? It was Darkest.
Yeah. Desperate. I was called. Oh my God. I had
Wait,
Desperate
shit.
Measures. What did I read?
Oh, no, sorry. Desperate Measures.
Darkest Desires. There's the same thing. They're the same
There,
thing.
yeah, Darkest Desires. Honestly, it's kind of a punch up. Kind of a
I
punch up.
mean,
I don't want look.
maybe.
We're not here to give notes, but also there
hmm
probably is something in this series called Darkest Desires.
There's probably 72 books in existence right now called Darkest
Easily,
Desires. Yeah.
easily, yeah.
That's so funny because, like, I feel like with all of the Disney movies, like, I feel like there's the thing of, like, oh, that priest has a boner in this one, and you can see sex in the sky in this one. And I always, like, get
hmm
confused, like, which, like, myth belongs to which
Which horny
movie.
Disney animator, like which desperately broken just guy drawing. Oh, good. Yeah. Those those weirdos in Burbank get horned up, and they shared it with us.
They did, yeah. And it's wild to me because I did like the other day, I had Aladdin on in the background as I was like doing life. I wasn't watching it, actively, I guess I would say.
You weren't watching it while you were reading because Becky, my goodness, Dios mío, that would be the that's a filthy Venn diagram.
That would fuck me up so bad,
Yeah,
but in all the right
but
ways.
in all the good ways.
It's funny because Jafar. Okay, so in this book, Jafar is like the least horny character, or not in this book. He's the most horny character in this book.
I was gonna say
In
he's
in the
in the
movie,
movie, right?
he is. I mean, he's like flamboyant, and I know that his character is like queer coded, but like not sexual whatsoever.
Right, right. Who plays him in the movie? It's actually been long enough since I've seen Aladdin that I remember the design, but for some reason I
Hmm.
kind of can't remember his voice.
I
It's
Let me
not
look it up.
right. But
Uh,
this is again zero research.
I should no research you should have done for my podcast. Yes,
uh, um, yeah, I remember he had a great, sort of
he has
mustache
such
and
a
beard
good
sitch.
voice. Yeah. It was. Hang on. Okay, I'm gonna get this. It was Jonathan Freeman.
Hmm.
Okay,
Okay. Well, hats off to you, Jonathan Freeman.
Jonathan. Great work. Because, like, I mean, I think he probably inspired this book, Desperate Measures. But Mel, I want to ask you,
Mhm.
before reading Desperate Measures, have you ever read a romance novel before?
I have not read a traditional romance novel before. This is
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I jumped very much into the deep end.
$100%.
This is a yeah,
We
yeah, yeah.
dug. We
I
you this.
am
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. I feel like I'm still swimming. I'm still paddling around at the deep end trying
But
to
you're
try
not
to make
drowning. You're not
I'm not
drowning.
drowning. No. Everybody's fine. But no, I like, romance novels were definitely things that yeah, when you're a kid, they are Harlequin novels that you
Mm-hmm.
walk past in the grocery store or whatever. And yeah, and then the 50 Shades of Grey Kindle explosion, kind of like changed my awareness of them.
Mm-hmm.
But I never got curious enough to actually like read 50 Shades of Grey.
Right.
I've just heard that specifically, and I don't want to cast aspersions, but I've heard that specifically that series is like aggressively bad, like very poorly written, and
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
and then and because that was the big thing, I was kind of like, oh well, everyone says it's bad. Maybe perhaps all romance novels are badly written, but I will say, Desperate Measures, not poorly written.
No, I
It's
thought it was
actually
fantastic.
pretty like it's a solid read. Like
Yeah,
yeah.
I agree with that. And it's funny you say that because like I feel like, again, like you said, 50 Shades of Grey kind of like took the world by storm. And I'm always like in my head looking for something like when someone's like, okay, I read 50 Shades of Grey, hated it. And you want to think of like books that like, okay, let me give you a book that you can read that will undo 50 Shades of Grey, that gets the point
Hmm.
across that 50 Shades of Grey is trying to get across. I think Desperate Measures is going to be one of my recommendations now.
It's not bad. It's not bad because the I mean we're all over the place, but
Yeah.
like based on the pitch for this, I thought we were literally going to be in the world of the cartoon. Not obviously not,
Mm,
unfortunately the fucking parrot wasn't there. I
I
feel like
was
that's
upset about. I
I
was
feel
upset.
I
That's
feel like
my
that's a
one
that's a missed
criticism.
opportunity. That's bad, like it's a huge misstep
Really upset
on
about that.
this, like because I mean, what's more erotic than Gilbert Gottfried screeching at you? Just, his little claws. Oh man, I feel like sequel, but
Yes.
I immediately forgot what I was talking about. But yeah, no, I kind of thought this is a more, honestly, I thought this was more of a comedic
Hmm.
vibe. Like I thought,
Yeah.
I thought, okay, it's sort of a wink and a nod. We're going to be in the, and then filthy stuff is going to happen. But no, this is a total reimagining. It's dark. It's there's a lot of stuff about not just bedroom power dynamics, but actual like business and cultural power dynamics. And yeah. And there were really only a couple times where I was like, okay, that was that's a tropey phrase or
Right.
that was a first thought right too fast. But again, for the most part, like I was not rolling my eyes. I was kind of
Right.
like, okay, yeah, this is well put together. I liked the going back and forth between Jasmine and Jafar's
Mm-hmm.
POVs.
Mm-hmm.
The yeah, yeah. It's a good ride.
It
Yeah,
was good. It
nice
was
book.
great. Okay, show's over, guys. Listen,
Show's
we
over.
loved it.
Yeah, we freed up. Yeah, sorry, we kind of jumped right into the talking about the book. Uh, um,
Well, let me do a quick synopsis real quick because we
please.
read, as we said, we read Desperate Measures by Katee Robert, first book in the Wicked Villains book, currently $4.99. Now, I wrote a song parody that I'm not going to sing. I'm just going to say, because called Carver City Nights, like Arabian Nights, the opening to Aladdin. Okay. All right. Carver City Nights, like Carver City Days, more often than not, are hotter than hot in a lot of good ways. Oh, they come from a land, from a faraway place, where a sex dungeon, where Disney villains bone, where Aladdin is the monster, and Jafar is the hot heartthrob. It's a twist, but for Jasmine, it's home. When Jafar stages a coup, and Yasmin's all like, ooh, he's my daddy Dom and I'm his baby girl, she finds her power as a submissive and fulfills her burning wishes to be dominated while dominating the world.
I would really like any listener out there to take these lyrics and go go extremely hard and set this to music. What a dream. What a
Yeah.
dream.
I didn't want to, yeah.
I challenge all of every listener.
Yeah. Do you hear that, listener? One again.
What, listener? Do you hear that, mom?
Yeah, mom, do you hear that? Write a song.
Just
Yeah.
fucking write a song, mom. Ugh.
Ugh. I will say, I just need to jump right into it because, like, you were talking about how, the themes of power in this book, outside of the bedroom. And before we even start, so this basically is like a retelling of the Aladdin story. It takes place in modern days. It seems like.
Yeah, and that was another like sort of it was an interesting reading moment that because when you start reading again, won't really spoil, it won't spoil much. But when you're reading it, at the beginning, it's like, okay, Aladdin, or sorry, Jasmine, Jafar. Okay, we're in that world. We're in 1001
Mm-hmm.
Arabian Nights kind of whatever time period. And then the weird moment is he pulls his zipper down, and I was like, what?
A
Hold
zipper.
on, a zipper. And
Mm-hmm.
I actually had it's early enough in the book that I had like a okay,
Right.
this is a weird dumb mistake, and then I was like, no, it's actually a very it was a well planted purposeful anachronism
Mm-hmm.
based on I sort of projecting into what this author was doing, but I'm pretty sure she was kind of like, I'm gonna make you think this is castles and
Mm-hmm.
harems or whatever, and then just kind of very obviously change change the time period
Mm-hmm.
with just one word.
Yeah.
And it genuinely was like, oh shit, okay, that's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
It was a strong choice that drew me in. It was nice.
That's awesome because
Also, I
usually,
love
yeah.
zippers. I'm just anything with zippers. I'm just like
We got a
like a
real zipper of a guy here. I
yeah.
mean, you're real zip head.
Yep.
It's so funny you say that because like I feel like there's a lot like sometimes like in these books I'm thinking it takes place during one time and then like it's page 75 and then it's like they answered the phone and blah 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 and I'm like wait what am I
Hold on.
reading?
Yeah. Yeah, it was, and that's interesting. And I wonder if that is is that a romance novel, almost like trope to kind of like subtly or otherwise, like fuck with your expectations
Hmm.
to kind of like, okay, yeah, all right, we're in, Regency times. Oh shit, no, we're not.
Hmm.
Or is it like lazy bad writing?
Good point. Well, I honestly think it's purposeful with this writer because I have read a few of her books, and one of her more popular ones is the. I think that is that called Dark Desires. I never all the things are just jumbled in my
Mhm.
brain, but she does updated Greek mythology retellings. So
Ooh.
we did cover on the show with Kevin and Marlena a retelling of the Hades and Persephone myth, and we had the
Hmm.
same question of like not like when does this take place, but also like is there magic in this world? You know what I mean? Like are there
Hmm.
genies coming out of lamps? And it seems like no.
There's nothing to suggest that in this book.
Right.
They, if anything, I think they're just, for the most part, she's really just kind of borrowing names and then
Yes.
like light aspects of the some of the dynamics, I
Mm-hmm.
guess,
Yeah.
which again, that was a really interesting surprise because I thought we were much more in a like I don't want to say parody, but maybe the just but like that's what I thought of when it was like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
she's doing the villains series, like Disney villains. Oh, okay, it's going to be a bit kind of. It ain't a
Exactly.
bit. It ain't a
No,
bit. She's
this
taking
ain't a
this
bit.
very, very seriously.
We're in like kind of a seemingly like a dark underworld. It seems like as opposed to Jasmine being the princess of Agrabah or whatever in Aladdin, she's kind of like was it like a mob family? Like a mafia
Yeah,
princess?
it feels like there's almost, and in a way, I'm betraying more of what I'm into, but it has almost like a John Wick-esque, like there
Yes.
we're in a place, we're in a city, Carver City or whatever,
Hmm.
that could kind of which doesn't appear to be attached even to any like
Country.
country
Yeah.
or region. So you can't
Hmm.
really get a sense because also the names are jumbled of origins, but there is an Ali, Jasmine, Jafar. So, but it does seem to have this like heavily codified underworld, where there seem to be it's not just hey we're doing crime. There seem to be all these like rules and
Hmm.
kind of exchange of power and favor that is then also overlaid with some kind of almost like monarchy, almost
Yeah.
like a crime royalty almost.
Hmm.
Uh, um, but yeah, I don't think there's any magic. But it wouldn't surprise me. It's like the next one's like, oh, by the way, there's magic.
Yeah.
Uh,
I'd be like, okay,
um,
cool. Yeah, figured. You know what I mean? Like I'm just like I didn't care about like the dynamics of like with like the Capulets and the Montagues, the dynamics, there's a history,
mhm.
there's like kind of but with this it's just like, oh, insert crime family. Okay, great. And it doesn't
Yeah,
matter. It doesn't
no,
matter.
no, no. But she also didn't. She didn't hand wave too much.
Right.
The fact that and I think a lot of that was because she wanted to kind of draw power dynamic parallels
Mhm.
for the Jasmine Jafar stuff and have that sort of be this overlaying thing. So she, yeah, to your point, she gave you enough to know that this the crime stuff is important, but what we're really, what's feeding into is the fucking.
The fucking part.
Mhm, mhm.
Yeah. And
I
yes.
want to ask you. I'm sure you talked about this in the podcast. What
Mhm.
was your entree into romance novels?
Honestly, it was I was it was in my mid 20s. I was really into Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I
Mhm.
forgot a book on an air on a plane to and I go to the store and I find a book that's like about like vampires and I'm like, "Cool, this seems like Buffy." But then it ended up being sex with vampires and
Hell
then
yeah.
just from there on out, I was like,
Hell yeah.
oh, these like, and then for a while I was like, not really like telling anyone. And I was like kind of reading them on my own. And, when I was sad, I would read, whatever. But yeah,
Hmm.
I forget the name of the book, but I just remember like,
It doesn't matter. I
no,
mean, speaking of
yeah.
sex with vampires, and like I say, I didn't read any romances, but I read the shit out of some Anne Rice.
Yeah, I
I
mean
like
that's
like
a
like sixth, seventh
yeah.
grade. I was like, whoa, this is fucking like you don't even know why you're horny, but like you're kind of horny.
Hmm.
I was also a big Clive Barker fan. Like so,
Okay.
I think I kind of came at it from the horny horror end of things. So I wasn't reading
Hmm.
true romance stuff, but I was definitely reading like way too sexy for a fucking child to be reading.
Hmm.
But yeah, takes all kinds. Takes all
Yeah,
kinds.
I mean, I
There's
think
something
there's
in
a
this world for everybody.
yeah, I think there's a cross section, and I think this book kind of shows it a bit of like between fear and horniness. Like you're kind of
Sure.
feeling the same thing when you feel those things. Like they
Yeah.
feel the same.
Yeah. I mean, it's the kind of um, the difference between dread and suspense, or dread
Mm.
and anticipation.
Mm-hmm.
Dread's the bad end of it. Anticipation is the good end of it. But like, and
Mm-hmm.
suspense is somewhere like right there in the middle. Uh,
Yeah.
um, and yeah. I thought she did a really a surprisingly interesting job. Uh, um, Kind of navigating that. But it was interesting because I was talking to my wife about it, and kind of telling her the story, and as kind of in bits and pieces as I was going, and she kind of went, okay, because we started talking about
Mm-hmm.
this, the which I had to do a little bit of research, talking
Mm-hmm.
about the consensual non-consent aspects of the
Yeah.
story, which is a big important part of it. But I was kind of telling her at the beginning, she was like, huh, hmm. Hmm. I was like, oh, it was wait, so where's the consent part of that? And I was like, oh, well, it's complicated. I think I just said that a few times. And I think the opening
Mm-hmm.
is definitely the one. I mean, she kicks the door down real fast, and kind of asks you to uh um come along, because to
Yes.
be honest, the rest of it, like once you get into the uh once you actually get into their dynamic, he has imprisoned her. He's kind of doing some like 50 Shades of Grey stuff on steroids, but like about a third of the way in, she's 100% on board. Like
Mm-hmm.
they have, they've established a safe word, they've established a, uh, um, and so there, don't worry, there's tons of fucking, tons
Mm-hmm.
of sex, but there's basically nothing actually as like potentially like kind of yeesh as that first scene. We're really playing with fire there.
Absolutely. And I think it was clever and jarring on the author's part because like there's no real like in other books meet cute, in terms of like hi, I'm Jafar. Hi, not like that, but
Hello.
like
Mhm.
um they already have, even though they have sex for the first time right in the opening of this book, but it's not like they didn't have the dom sub dynamic. So they
Right.
already have that going. Um Jasmine, you don't have a thing like, in other books where it's like, oh, you have to be introduced to it. There's no real like glossary of all of the terms of like what makes a
Hmm.
BDSM. It's already there. So I can see for like, this being a first romance novel that you're gonna read just
I'm
like
assuming
right
they're just
away.
all like this, right? They're
Oh
just
god.
everyone begins
Mhm.
with exactly like this, and then yes, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm assuming they're differing levels of.
Classic love story. A guy takes down your father's drug empire or whatever,
Hmm.
and then he fucks you on the floor and then
Hmm.
chases you
Hmm.
around and
And
you
then
like
Chase,
it.
then it prisons you, and the important part is that you like it.
You like it. Yeah.
Oh boy.
Mhm.
Yeah. It's a big swing right out the gate.
Yeah, but I think that it worked when it easily could have gone south real fast of like, what the fuck? Are we just reading a kidnapping like porn,
Right.
But
Right.
no, we're reading an erotic story of like a woman who, feels like she has no power, likes the feeling of having no power, and then realizes she feels empowered by the feeling of giving away her power, of giving like,
Mm-hmm.
Jafar the choice to take her power.
Right. And then, but then by the end, she's fucking taking the power for real. She's like literally
Fucking loved it.
taking the, and it was funny because like I had, again, kind of like halfway through, I was like, oh, I'll just scroll through a couple comments on Amazon.
Hmm.
And I read something that like, just the way they phrased it, I thought, oh yeah, like I didn't really like that Jafar ended up ruling, and I was like, oh no, is that where this book is
Hmm.
going? That somehow he's gonna end up taking over. I was gonna like, I was sort of like a little like, oh boy, I
Hmm.
wonder how we're gonna get there. And so the fact that it wasn't that, and I just either this person, either I don't know how to read or this person doesn't know how to write. Uh, um, Led, like it's like, oh yeah, no, it's she freaking kills Aladdin with a letter opener.
Right. Loved
It's
it.
honestly, it's a pretty good image. They've set up that she's wearing this white dress
Hmm.
and fucking red weddings in,
Yeah.
and then and that idea of that vaguely like royal monarchy kind of thing, like the fact that she's killed him, there will be enough of her of the men that go, great, we're following you.
Hmm.
We do respect people who stab other people in the throat. That's
Yes.
that's how it works.
Yeah,
That's how it works here.
it's
Yeah.
how you elect presidents. It's how you no.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
but I think what's so interesting is that like it's such an empowering, crazy ass moment. And Jasmine as a character, she is like was raised by her, criminal dad. She like never left the house. She was very, very what's the word? Just like not secured,
Well, it's a
sheltered.
sheltered. Yeah.
Yeah, doesn't know anything, but despite that, and you would think that it would be kind of like this like silly like fish out of water comedy of like when she's like, what does this do, a doorknob, I'm so sheltered. And but no, she this whole time has been like educating herself,
Mm-hmm.
about what she likes sexually, but also about like how to run a um, crime
She's
family.
into crypto. This is also like a low key
Really into crypto.
a low key advertisement for crypto. The whole thing
Hmm.
is like, and what's funny, the I'd have to go back and look at it to be sure, but I don't think she ever actually says crypto. She keeps saying like digital cash or
Yes.
digital currency. She says
Hmm.
digital currency. So she like it seems like the author was like, I'm I'm just not gonna fuck with the crypto bros, but I want to have a thing that like
Hmm.
she's got to take. And she was
Hmm.
like, I don't know, digital currency, good enough.
Yeah, exactly. And I was just like I read it, and just like we need to take things digital, and I never know what that means. I don't care, you know what I mean?
Nope.
But I'm
Nope.
like, because like when someone's like, oh, I mean, we need to think more digital, and everyone's like, oh, I see
Mm-hmm.
exactly what you're saying.
What if she'd been like, we really need to pivot to video. We really need to get those
Yeah.
APIs up or fucking like
Yeah, if she even
that's
if she said like synergy, I'd be like, she knows what she's doing, and I don't
she's the
even know if that's
boss.
a word.
She's definitely a boss. Yeah, yeah. So she knows synergy and can stab a guy in the throat. She's got my vote.
How did she not do this sooner is my
hmm
question. Well, she's
hmm
young and whatever. But so she like so Jafar gives her this choice in the beginning to like go off with him, and he like more or less it looks like he's kidnapping her. In
hmm
reality, she's willingly going with him. I think out of fear cuz she's afraid to be on her own, but also she like has this kind of relationship with Jafar.
a to this point unconsummated relationship. Like
Correct.
and
Mhm.
they have let themselves basically just be horny for each other.
Mhm.
It's been unrequited, unconsummated lust and longing on both their parts that comes to a head after he kills her dad.
As
And
one does.
as
Yeah.
one does, that's
Mhm.
look, look, if you've got another way to get a girl, I'm all ears.
Mhm.
Uh,
But
um,
that's yeah.
but that's the only way I know.
Classic boy meets
Um,
girl. Yeah.
classic boy meets girl. And yes, so so there is this to your point, there is a relationship, and
Mm-hmm.
there is a dynamic.
Mm-hmm.
And so do you think that do you think that they had to have the sex scene, at the
Oh.
beginning? Like, could it have been a thing where we put that off? Uh, uh, um,
Mm.
and he just kidnaps her, and bad pitch, bag over her head, and she wakes up in the apartment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then it's the slow exploration of that. It you know I think it would have been a safer introduction
Mm-hmm.
to the dynamic, but not necessarily a better one.
I agree. Like I'm kind of going back and forth on an answer because like, yeah, I think that like the sex in and of itself in this book like is almost inconsequential to what it means, if that makes any sense at all, like
I think I know what you mean. I mean, in the sense that the sex is playing. It isn't just about the sex. It isn't
yeah.
just about, and now there's thrusting, and like
Mhm.
the thrusting, and then the eventual threesomes, and the people watching at the sex club and everything. It is more about the power dynamic and
Yes.
the relationship
Exactly.
than it
It's
is actually
mhm.
about friction
Just
and
fucking,
fucking.
yeah. Like I think it's about trust. And so I think like any sort of like plot point that could happen, as long as it's like, okay, maybe she's doing this because she trusts him. Like it could have been anything, It could have been like, will you shake my hand? Will you eat this flower? And
Hmm.
it's like, do you trust me? And it's like, okay, yeah. But I will say, what we find out later on is that she is a virgin, and that was the first
Hmm.
time she has sex. And I
Hmm.
thought that was so fascinating because, well, first of all, like Jafar kind of like, not he doesn't like freak out, but he was like, oh, did I hurt you? Da 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 da. You assume that when you hear the word virgin, you think someone is very naive, that they don't know their own body, that they don't know anything about the world. When clearly, like, I think this book really is a good, like, example of, like, what virginity as a social construct means?
Hmm. In the context of something that's sort of owned by her father, and
Exactly.
it really yeah, because they make it a point to say she's got all kinds of sex toys that somehow she managed to get, even though she's sheltered.
Who knows?
I
Yeah,
don't who
I was
look, I'm not gonna
but I did have questions about that because it's like, okay, you had to have some sort of underground system within the underground system of like, hey,
hmm
assistant, I need you to take this package.
hmm
Where's that person?
I would, yeah. And what if it had been the parrot, and it had been Gilbert Godfrey? So,
Thank
and
you.
he's like flying back, and it's like, Princess, I got you a dildo, and he drops it, and and then she's like, Thanks." Is it Iago?
Iago.
Iago?
But the
We're
thing
really
is,
mixing
it's a
classics.
good, yeah, I mean it's a good, I think it's like a really good ruse because like everyone thinks the parrot's stupid, and so when like the parrot's flying in is like dildo dildo, and her dad would be like, what did he say? And she's like,
Hmm.
just the parrot, and then
Yeah,
everyone's like,
the
you're right,
parrot.
parrots just saying dildos all the time.
Just dropping a 13-inch purple thing. Uh, um, yeah. So she is a virgin by, to your point, like social construct definition only. She
Exactly.
has not had penetrative sex with a man, or like
Exactly.
with a human.
Yeah.
Because I don't know, maybe the parrot.
Who
What? Hmm.
some the parrot can hold a lot in its mouth.
The
Maybe
bear
there
can
was
hold a
some
lot in its mouth. Is
sort of situation.
right,
We don't
right.
know what happened with the parrot,
Yeah.
but by human standards,
Hmm.
she had yet to be penetrated. But I thought, and so that I thought, so that made that sex scene kind of necessary because like, I don't know. I guess maybe it was like, this isn't a book where you're going to read some like, beautiful, like deflowering kind of thing where he's like very gentle with her. And because it's not what she wants, it's not who she is.
Hmm.
And so, like, I think just kind of like, dare I, and I mean this in not in a disrespectful way, but I think like getting it over with works
Mm-hmm.
for her in this
Mm-hmm.
situation, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. No, it makes sense. And you know, and it's certainly earned in the context eventually once you kind of get more into the, oh yeah, they've wanted to do this. It's very clear
Hmm.
that she has wanted this. She maybe didn't necessarily want it to happen minutes after he murdered her dad.
Who
There she
does?
did. Who does? Uh, um, but apparently dad wasn't a nice guy. So, you know,
Yes, dad was abusive, all that stuff. Yeah, it's not like he's not the dad isn't like the dad in Disney movies. He's not a Disney dad. He's
no,
terrible. And like it's and she's almost like kind of turned on by the fact like I mean, well, not kind of. I think she's very much turned on by the fact that Jafar killed her dad. She's like this is doing it for me.
this
They go
works.
off.
Yeah.
He takes her to like his penthouse and he basically again on paper, not on paper, but it seems like he's imprisoning her there even though she is very willingly staying.
That I don't know if it's very willingly. She at the
Mm-hmm.
beginning,
Yes, yes. Mm-hmm.
and I'd have to, I don't remember if there's like a specific term, but
Mm-hmm.
she kind of gets like you know, there's the possibility like of the stylist coming in, like maybe there's an escape.
Mm-hmm.
But at some point she chooses both because of sex and because she also realizes she doesn't have any skills or knowledge or
Mm-hmm.
money or you know literally
Mm-hmm.
what would she do, you know.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So there's a sense of a biding her time, keeping her powder dry, but also fucking this dude anytime she feels like
Mm-hmm.
it, you
Yeah,
know.
and it seemed like I mean, first of all, it seems like a great house.
Seems like a really
And
nice house. Yeah.
it also seems that like Jafar is very attentive. One thing I noticed is that like she, you know, he's going off because like he, you know, discovers Aaliyah's still alive, and like you know, is like kind of you know he's like trying to find him, trying to figure out what to do after this coup, blah 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 blah. This kind of leaves Jasmine to like the floor, like only the few floors she's allowed to go within his like huge penthouse, which is like 3 floors. And you know, she looks in the bathroom and she looks at all the products, and Jafar has purchased all of the exact products that she uses.
Which means he's been sneaking around her bathroom like a little fucking pervert, just like sniffing, sniffing, sniffing. Sandalwood. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I'm like, and he's just, and he had to like write it down on his like Amazon note or like on his notes app.
Exactly.
Uh,
Yeah.
um,
Like how like that to
and
me
that's what
is
you want
very
in a
funny.
man. That's what you
Honestly,
want in a man, to
it's
sneak
true.
into your bathroom and then eventually
Mhm.
imprison you, but also have all the nice things from your bathroom
Yeah,
because how else do you know
exactly.
that he cares?
Exactly. And it has to be like the exact things. Like you said, the sandalwood scent, like the exact type of bottle. He is sending, can you believe that like he's like sending his goons because I'm assuming Jafar does have his own goons of
He's got
like,
goons.
"Hey, I need you to go to Sephora and get like
There's
he's
yeah,
doing that."
there's no online delivery in Carver City. He's got to send and then there's like the awkward thing is like, oh boss, they didn't have it at Sephora. Well, go to the other Sephora.
He's
Go
like,
to
"I went to
the like
both, man. I went to Ulta."
oh I don't like is Bed Bath and Beyond still a thing? Is that a
You're fine. And then he just goes shoots
it
him in the
just
face like you're like
just
Bed Bath and Beyond, get the fuck out of
you know
here.
uh but yeah, that's how you know a man
It's
cares.
how you know he
Um,
cares.
but yeah, no, he is attentive, and I mean, I'm assuming that there is a well, this is a broader question. In similar books, not necessarily none even
Hmm.
necessarily about this author or whatever, is that an aspect of typical this sort of boy, I hate saying it, daddy dom, but
No, it's.
kind
I
of
think
hard.
you can say it. It's a common kink. People are
Oh no,
into it. People
I know it.
abuse
I
it.
just don't like
Yeah.
saying it. Daddy Dom is
Oh,
just
see,
kind
I
of.
hate saying baby little girl.
Oh no, they're both gross.
They're
And
both
I would say
gross.
that that's the one aspect of this. And it's not even like I'm uncomfortable with, or I,
Hmm.
you know, just like ew. Like everything else,
Yes.
like the daddy and baby girl, literally just those phrases
Hmm.
are they do make me kind of go,
Yeah.
Don't wanna cast aspersions. Yakety ones, yum. Also, don't like that phrase. Uh,
No, I
um,
think you're absolutely right. I think right now, like, I think that, like, millennials are probably, we're in an age range where we can't be into daddy doms because all of our friends are literally becoming mommies and daddies. And so it just gets very
sure.
confusing in our
It gets a little
heads.
weird. Gets a little
So
weird.
it's
Sure.
weird. I 100% get that.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
yeah.
All the dynamic and the power stuff like that makes sense. It's
Mm-hmm.
literally just that phrasing. But what I was say is like that the like the Jafar character in another book
Mm-hmm.
is that level of detail about kind of attentiveness
Yes.
outside of the like that's a trope. That's a thing
Yeah. Yeah.
that
Because
is desired.
100%. And I think that's like kind of a thing. I could be wrong. Again, I don't have that much experience, but I think that's a thing, within the kind of kink and BDSM world itself. I think like
Hmm.
aftercare and care for your
Sure.
submissive is probably considered more imperative than anything.
Right.
And so you're constantly taking care of the person who is submitting to you. You're like over checking in, you're over
Hmm.
making sure they're being fed and have their needs met and all these things because like, you know, in the real world and in this book, they're willingly giving you their power in a way that makes
Hmm.
them powerful. So that makes the Dom kind of submissive to them in terms of are their needs being met? Like,
Right.
so they are
Right.
going to cater to you as much as you are catering to them in a
And
way.
it's sort of catering to you outside of the scenario or act of, like the times when we're fucking, it's like this. The
Mm-hmm.
times when we're not doing that,
It's,
it is all shampoos and
yeah.
fine wines
Mm-hmm.
and terry and like really nice fluffy robes. I think robes are
Yeah.
mentioned a couple times, like a
There were
nice
a
fluffy
bunch of
robe.
fluffy
You
robes. She had
gotta
so
have a
many
nice
robes.
robe.
Oh my god, so many robes. But I think it's like, yeah, I think it's like that. I think it's like, kind of like cherishing your partner, but I also think it's like giving them what they desire, So let's say that let's say that like Jasmine didn't prefer, hairspray. She, like he wouldn't get her
Hmm.
hairspray. It's like
Wouldn't get
knowing
her.
what, like it's just like it's like the awareness of what like the human body needs and then what the person
Hmm.
independently needs. Because I think there is something like a little like I think what bothers me sometimes about like something like a 50 Shades of Grey is that like yeah, he's like super rich and he has all this shit and he can afford all this shit, but he can get her and he gets her all this shit, but it's like did he ask her if that's what she likes? Like what if she likes,
Right.
this type of lip gloss and not that? It's like
Hmm.
those things.
Yeah, yeah. Which I mean, I imagine there is, and again, not having read Fifty Shades of Grey, I wonder if that is like a subset. Is like, I don't want to think. I want him to think for me. I
Mhm.
want him to get me the lip gloss and the
Yep.
whatever that he likes,
Mhm.
and it's all about. And then there's this sort of other strand that I keep forgetting. Is it Katie Robert?
Yeah,
Is that
Katee
right? Is that right?
Robert. Yeah.
That Katie Roberts playing with, that is more about the difference between those two,
Mhm.
and again, this is my first time jumping
Mhm.
in, but
You're
that's
good.
much more interesting to me. Like
Yes. Yeah.
the
Mhm.
idea, and not just in a like well, it actually makes it make more sense. Like
Yes.
I have a harder time kind of understanding why someone would just you do everything for. Well, I mean, I guess I can
Mhm.
understand it, but like certainly from a as a writer and reader of interesting characters to see some like to pull off a character who completely cedes
Mhm.
everything and is completely passive. Uh, um, that's a tall order to kind of stay engaged in with
Absolutely.
them,
Mhm.
and this and even just little details like that kind of uh, uh, um, complicate the dynamic in an interesting way.
Mhm. Yeah, and I think like to your point, like I think by like even the author checking in with her, like that's why I think this book more so than other books is like it's like you said, it's an insane first romance novel to read, but like let's say that anyone is interested in kind of reading something that has this like sub dom dynamic. I think this is a good first book to read because it lets you know more times than not that Jasmine, as a submissive, is into this. She wants this. She is
Mm-hmm.
consenting to this. Yes, does she have anxieties about her relationship with Jafar? Like, yes, are there fears, but in no way are the fears, you know, caused by any sort of like lack of consent. It's
Mm-hmm.
more just like her own kind of fears of like, what's gonna happen to my life? Like, what am I doing with
Right. Who
myself?
who am I?
Yeah.
What is, can I go to college? Can I get into crypto? Like, am I doing Bitcoin? Am I doing
Mm-hmm.
Ethereum? But like, yeah, they actually, in a lot of ways, it is about identity,
Yeah.
and like
Mm-hmm.
who she is on her own, and who she is as a couple. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
um, so if you're in a couple and struggling with codependency issues, just read this.
Honestly,
It'll kind of just like make it all make sense.
yeah, it'll save
Pretty
money
clear.
on couples
Oh,
therapy.
the
Just
fucking
read
couples
this book.
therapy. You don't need that.
No,
All
just
you
read
need
this
is
book.
Katee Roberts. Again, I'm gonna
Yes.
get this Desperate Measures.
Desperate
It's
Measures.
$4.99 on Amazon.
Come on, guys. It's right there.
It's right
It's right
there.
there.
You can read it on your Kindle. Uh,
Yeah.
um, I like I that we're again. I'm just
Mm-hmm.
zipping all over the place, but I
Please.
actually really love that idea. Like like why Fifty Shades of Grey exploded was because of the Kindle, because you could
Mm-hmm.
read it. You
On the
could just it's
train.
just on the
Yeah.
train, whatever. I'm
Mm-hmm.
just like, and I'm just reading the horniest shit on the
Mm-hmm.
subway or on a plane, and no one knows.
Yeah.
And I wonder how, like, there's sort of like a utopian version of that, where it's like, oh, did this like radically change women's relationship to
Mm.
their sexual, like they kind of just did, like, maybe if they were interested in it, but like, I don't know, I like,
Mm-hmm.
ah, and but the fact that they get to be like, no, I'm gonna do this, and there's sort of no stigma about it.
Yeah.
And in doing that, they actually help themselves legitimately destigmatize it for themselves. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's kind of cool.
I think that also kind of like is what kind of like what Jasmine does in this book. Like she reads in order to understand
Yeah.
like her sexuality, and I think that's like kind of like maybe it symbolizes like what readers are now, reading these books to kind of understand what they like. I think that like it's not like I think that like the classical narrative of like a sexual awakening is like you have sex with one person once and then suddenly like, everything is, butterflies and roses and
Hmm.
sunshine. When in reality, like I think a sexual awakening is a longer process than maybe movies and books and or other things make it seem.
Sure,
It is a
sure,
lot
yeah.
about like self-exploration and learning about yourself and
And eventually
yeah.
finding a copy of Judy Blume's Wifey in the back of a car,
Exactly. Yes.
and kind of going, okay, what's this? And then going,
Yeah.
whoa, hold on.
Exactly. Like I think like those moments are way more important than your first kiss or well, actually I could be wrong. And that's my opinion. I
They
think
they are they
that
are they
they're
are part of
essential.
it's yeah, it's part of a continuum.
Yeah.
I think to your point, like, you're learning about sexuality your whole life.
Mhm.
you know uh,
Mhm.
uh, and it's funny, like, in a way, almost the phrase sexual awakening is kind of, it's misleading. It's like,
Yeah.
and now I'm awake forever, and I know all the things, and
Mhm.
before I didn't know anything, and now I know all the things. And it's like, no, like, no one knows anything,
Yes.
really.
Yes.
And you're constantly figuring stuff out, both about yourself, about relationships, what you're into, what you're not into,
Mhm.
and that idea. This is not about Desperate Measures at all, but I would say, like, did you read Three Women by Lisa Taddeo? I don't know if I'm pronouncing her name right.
No, I didn't. No.
Buddy, hard
Mhm.
wreck. It
Mhm.
is so it's actually journalism.
Okay.
It's technically nonfiction,
Mhm.
though it reads like a novel.
Mhm.
But she just interviewed three women,
Mhm.
as the clever title, and goes incredibly deep and specific about their sexual relationships.
Mhm.
It's fascinating, fascinating.
Yeah.
Uh, um, and I forgot why I brought that up.
Well, I think
Doesn't
it
matter.
just goes to show that it's like, it's not a simple narrative in terms of like,
Right.
yeah,
Right.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And the fact that probably for a long time, well, not like empirically for a long time, it was dudes writing the narratives
Exactly.
about everything.
Mm-hmm.
And the POV is by necessity pretty dude-like.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, the idea of an awakening triggers a plot point, which triggers another plot point, and
Mm-hmm.
let's us keep continuing the story.
Yeah.
And so yeah, there is a little bit of a maybe false expectation that's created
Mm-hmm.
from like, great, well, once this happens, whatever your this is,
Yeah.
I'm good. Like whether I lose my
Mm-hmm.
virginity, my first kiss, my first
Mm-hmm.
whatever. And the truth is that everyone's an idiot.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. We're all the
And
worst.
then you die.
Honestly, I can't, like, that's the most romantic thing anyone has ever said. We're all idiots
Yeah, we're
and
all
then we
idiots, and then
die.
you die.
Like, honestly, like, there's nothing truer than that. And anyone who doesn't think that, I'm so unattracted to them.
There you go. There you go. Yeah. No, they like you. I mean, I think the other thing that's really interesting about uh dom sub kink,
Mm-hmm.
CNC or whatever, is the idea of work, like
Yeah.
putting work into it,
Mm-hmm.
putting thought into it, putting your back into it. And it's
Yeah.
funny because like the I don't know if there was a article a few weeks ago about in the New York Times, I think, about polycules.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
It's so fucking funny. It's like, and
Mm-hmm.
everybody roasted them, justifiably, because it sounds like a nightmare.
Yes.
It
Yeah.
sounds like a fucking hellhole nightmare.
Mm-hmm.
But what I will say is that, I mean, because the whole thing is like, you got to talk everything. You
I
got to talk about
know.
everything. You got to talk about
Yeah.
everything. You got to talk literally about
Mm-hmm.
everything.
Yep.
And I've been with my wife since 2005. We got married in 2012. Been together since 2005.
Mm-hmm.
The idea of talking about everything,
Mm-hmm.
nope. That's why we're married. That's
Yes.
yeah, that there is an aspect of that is very true. But we are better when we do let ourselves, like, encourage ourselves to do
Mm-hmm.
a little work, to do a little talking, to do,
Yeah.
the polycule magnifies that because
Mm-hmm.
you're actually doing that,
Yeah.
but yeah, there is, I think, certainly it's easy to kind of get into, well, we got this. We figured
Right.
this out.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, hey, I've been
Mm-hmm.
doing this for a while. Like, I'm a grown up. I figured it out. And I think there is something to, like, no, you're kind of an idiot. You will
Mm-hmm.
forget. You will get it wrong. Just keep practicing.
Yeah.
Keep practicing.
Yeah.
Pablo Casals, he was still practicing, when he was in his 90s, and he was,
Mm-hmm.
he was a great quote. It's like, I think I'm starting to get it. It's like,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
like, man, you got it, but I dig that. Like, you like, I think I'm getting better,
Yeah.
which is
Yeah.
pretty cool. It's pretty cool way to think about it. So in a way, like, I think, this level of, this kind of storytelling and thinking about it, well, you'll get better at it.
Yeah.
One will get better at
Exactly. And I think it's also like this reminder that you're human. Like, humans aren't, we're not supposed to get it. You know what I mean? Like, we
it.
are
Sure.
supposed to make mistakes and we are supposed to change and get confused about ourselves and about this and about that. And like, I think like sexuality in this way kind of reminds us of that,
Hmm.
of like, oh yeah, sometimes like we we have to do what feels like the least romantic thing to achieve the most romantic thing,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, that's very true. That's very
Yeah.
true. Yes, it feels like work, or it feels like checking a box, or like,
Mhm.
should we have to do this? But like doing it, uh, uh, you will learn something. You
You
really,
will.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And like not all of us have a parrot that can drop fucking
Dildos.
sex toys over the wall of our daddy's mansion, you know.
Right? Yeah.
So some of us, like you got to figure out other ways to learn about stuff. And I'm
Exactly.
glad that Jasmine did. I'm
Me
glad that
too.
Jasmine did. I'm
Yeah.
glad that Jasmine lusted after Jafar for a while,
Mhm.
and she didn't stab him in the dick with a letter opener on that first night.
Thank God.
Thank God.
Yeah.
Would have been a very different would have been a very
It would have
different
been
scene.
it would have been a
Different
different
book.
scene, different
Different book.
book. I
Really
mean,
different book.
I would have loved that book though. But no, I think I like Jafar being intact. I like him. I like this love story. You know.
Hmm.
Speaking of parrots and sex things,
Great.
I did one time one of the first books that I read that involved kind of a kidnapping esque kind of sub dom thing that I don't think I was ready for, but I read it and I learned a lot. I'm not, traumatized or anything from it. But there was one room in their sex dungeon where there were parrots flying in this room because it was like the sex dungeon was like this gorgeous mansion, right?
Sure.
There's like parrots like flying in the room. There's like it's like an indoor arboretum or something. You used to have
Okay.
parrots all around, and the parrots they were like mimicking what people say at the club. So it would be like, you dirty slut, you dirty slut, during the
Wow.
scene. And I was expecting that in the sex club in this book because I thought in my head, oh, our parrots a sex club thing.
Oh, well, okay. See, that actually helps me contextualize why she
Mhm.
left the parrot out because chances are Katee Robert, what book are you talking about?
This book, I think it's called like Guilty Pleasures.
Of
And
course.
yeah, of course it was called that. And honestly, it it did not have the level of like consent in that book as this that it doesn't
Hmm.
have it. And I didn't get it until I read all of the comments on the Amazon page where people were like, hey, I know this could be traumatizing, but actually, like, I'm in this community. This type of fantasy is a fantasy for us. Like, the book itself doesn't have any trigger warnings nor says it, but, just keep that
Mm-hmm.
in mind. You should keep that in mind when you read it. And then I was like, oh, now I get it. But then I just thought, like, I just think about, like, rich people's sex dungeons, not normal sex dungeons, rich people's sex
Rich people say
dungeon.
dungeon. And I'm assuming that the
There's
parrots
wildlife.
are
Yeah.
there. They're wildlife of some sort.
I assume.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
wonder if that's why she was like, oh no, Guilty Pleasures already did the parrot bit. We're gonna save
Exactly.
Iago. Yeah.
Yeah, because it would have
But
been great.
man, but what if that's actually a thing? What if it's like,
Yes.
oh yeah, like and you walk if you're a normal rich person
Hmm.
and you walk into a normal rich person sex club and you're like, where are the parrots? Where,
Yeah. Where's the
who's
parrot
gonna hear
room?
me call my sub a dirty slut and
Hmm.
then repeat it? That's my
Yeah.
thing. That's all that's what rich people like. They like to be looked
Yeah.
at and have their words repeated back to them.
Exactly. It's like voyeurism with parrots. Like I assume that's like if you're rich enough to afford a bunch of parrots, you're rich enough to have them watch you have
You oh,
sex.
100%. I mean, honestly, if I get a bunch of parrots and if they're not watching me have sex, what
Hmm.
did I buy this bunch of parrots for?
Why do even parrots exist? I mean, what was Iago doing before we meet him in Aladdin?
Oh,
He's watching Jafar fuck all the time.
he was definitely working in a sex dungeon. They're like, nice dick. Ah.
Oh, that's a nice complimentary parrot.
Yeah, yeah,
Aw,
yeah.
I like it. Like affirmations,
Hmm.
a sex dungeon affirmation parrot is
Look,
just
he's a
yeah,
sex positive sex dungeon parrot.
yeah. I love
Yeah.
it. I love it.
Hmm.
I have to ask you though, what did you think of this sex dungeon? Because a large part of the story does, take place in this sex
In
dungeon
the
that
underworld.
the underworld ruled by Hades, no
Hmm.
less.
Hmm.
Not the same Hades as the Hades in her other books, I realized. So anyone else who has been reads her books, not the same Hades. But
Oh, interesting.
and
Uh,
I thought it was the same at first, and I was like, "Oh, cool." She like whatever, but then I was like, "Oh no, wait, this Hades is older, and the other
well,
Hades
apparently
is
there is a
yeah."
sequel because I
Mhm.
read a couple pages like the sequel to this one. It
Mhm.
has Hades and Meg dealing with
Yes.
Hercules.
Hercules, more like Huncules. Yeah.
Hercules. Uh, um, let's not talk about that.
I could do Hercules puns all night long.
Oh my gosh. Hercules squeeze.
Jerk
Um,
it, please.
Yep. Yep. The book writes itself.
I mean, come on,
Yeah.
guys.
So sorry, you're asking before I derailed that. You're asking about the underworld.
No, you answered it completely with the Hercules stuff. But like no, but I wanted to know your thoughts on like okay, there's this crazy world where I guess like kind of like in John Wick, instead of like the hotel where all the assassins live, it's an insane like sex club with like high tech shit where all the rich people fuck, where all the rich
Uh-huh.
criminals fuck.
Right, right. Which, and also, and there are cameras everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
I just started thinking about like because these things exist. I mean, like,
Yes.
sex clubs are a thing,
Mm-hmm.
high end, whatever. Like, if I like, if I was rich and that horny, I would just assume they're filming me doing stuff, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
potentially compromising myself. How
Oh
particularly,
yeah.
in
Okay.
2024, like how
Mm-hmm.
would you not just be like, oh, someone's watching me do this?
Right.
Uh, um, and so it is kind of like, well, why do they do that?
Mm-hmm.
Is that part of it? Because I would
Mm.
imagine it's, at some point, a long time ago before there was like easy, cameras or whatever, then yeah, brothels were, I mean, like brothels in like the 19th century and before were like, that's a place, I mean, they were like going to the Elks Club. Like
Yeah.
it was like
Mm-hmm.
going to the local bar, like
Mm-hmm.
business was conducted there. And, but at some point it's like, oh no, somebody could be fucking taking pictures of you.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I don't know why people do that.
Mm-hmm.
Unless, again, that's actually kind of part of it. Is
Yes.
there actually
Mm-hmm.
a weird, kind of analogous, I guess when you hear about, it's a lot of like dudes who sign up these subs are like the stereotype is like the Wall Street guy who's
Yeah.
like he's always in power and he wants to just not be in power.
Mm-hmm.
Is there an aspect of that? Like, I actually like that there's something compromising about
Mm-hmm.
me. Like, I like that
Yeah.
this brothel which is owned by the Russian mafia, probably,
Oh, sure.
like,
100%. Yeah.
now has pictures of my dick or whatever.
Yeah.
It just seems, like when a sex scandal can, engulf you pretty quickly. It's surprising that people would, I guess, open themselves up to that. Or is there
Mm-hmm.
like, is the world of it actually so proscribed by probably criminality that like if you did
Mm-hmm.
try to blackmail someone, you're gonna get killed? I don't know. It has
Yeah.
nothing to do with your question.
No, but
I
I
just
think you present a fascinating point because I think there is something to like people like being watched. There's a level of humiliation that I think some people find it to be a turn on and are willing to kind of take the risks of their own personal whatever
yeah, yeah, maybe
to
that's
have
it.
that experience. It could be that. I mean, I don't
Maybe.
know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or maybe there's fucking ding dongs.
Or
Uh,
that. I mean, it could
um,
be yes. Hmm.
but yeah, no, the aspect of it that I actually kind of wanted more of this
Hmm.
was the idea of using the underworld like a power, like an actual like
Yes.
businessy, crimey power kind of like
Hmm.
yes, we end up having, okay, there it's two-way mirrors and people are
Hmm.
watching them have sex and everything. And it's very much about that's the Jasmine Jafar of it. But they do kind of paint this place as a place where deals go down and
Yep. Hmm.
favors are exchanged.
Hmm.
And I think it would have been really interesting to play with some of those dynamics with basically with some of those other characters like that they mentioned someone named Hook
Yeah. Hmm.
and Meg is a character who like works for Hades,
Hmm.
and then there's a great sex scene with where she comes over to the apartment,
Yes.
but like the underworld, like that's such a juicy cool
Hmm.
place. I actually wish they had used it more,
Yeah, I
or
agree.
to kind of lean into some of that stuff. I mean, I mean, be totally honest, I found myself kind of going like, yeah, this is like a cool Paul Verhoeven, Joe
Yes.
Esterhazy kind of like, okay, great,
Hmm.
let's pitch the TV show that's basically the underworld as again, it's sort
Yes.
of John Wicky, it's the Continental, but like
Hmm.
with fucking,
Yeah.
and like get the Red Shoe Diaries guys back,
Hmm.
really lean into the lean into the crime and power of it.
Yeah, because yeah, and I think like what's very fascinating is that like the way this club is made to seem as if you're talking about power, you're talking about deals taking place, and a lot of it is like you have your men and like the women on their sides kind of sitting on their lap, they're just like quietly
Hmm.
listening in. And there is one scene where Jafar is like having some sort of conversation with Captain Hook, who I'm assuming is going to be the lead in another of these
Amazing.
series, which I'm very excited for. And obviously Jafar is fingering Jasmine this entire time,
Sure.
but Jasmine is able to clock something about Hook that she is able to advise Jafar in, and that's the moment when you realize that like Jasmine's really fucking smart.
That's right. That's right.
And I was like,
Yeah,
I
it's a
wanted
good
more
moment.
things like that, of
Yeah.
just like her, like being able to multitask, if you will,
Just come on. Be like just multitask, get out your Google spreadsheet
Yes.
and that's true because it's a good character moment, but it's also a good like kind of dynamic about the world moment,
Hmm.
and we're also doing while finger banging is happening.
I mean, it was great. It was
Yeah,
great.
everybody wins.
Everyone
Everybody wins.
wins. We meet Ali there and we see how bad he is. He's the villain of the story.
Right.
Um, and so then after that, Jafar is like, I'm protecting you, blah, 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 blah. And then, I mean, I guess we should cut to the end because, like, as we were talking about before, was very powerful where she is in turn saves herself. She doesn't need anyone rescuing her. She kills Aladdin,
Hmm.
Ali. Yeah. I loved that scene. I thought it was great.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. The build up to it is really beautifully done. I mean, you kind of know it's coming, but like the actual like explosion of violence
Mm-hmm.
is well done, and like I think we talked about it earlier, but like the image of her like kind of walking up the stairs covered in the guy's blood
Mm-hmm.
is gnarly.
Yeah. And you're left with this question because this is all happening from Jasmine's perspective. Jafar is under the impression that she's been kidnapped or is about to be killed by Ali. And so he's like racing to go. He discovers where he is through all these deals with Hades, all that stuff, whatever. He is coming thinking he's going to rescue Jasmine, but we as a reader are thinking, is he going to come? And Jasmine's going to be like, I'm in charge. What is he going to do? Like, that's the
Hmm.
real question. And
Right.
I thought that I was like, oh, is Jafar going to be like mad about this? I hope
Hmm.
not. And he's not,
Hmm.
obviously. It's happily ever after. But I thought it was a really like tense kind of like, are
Yeah,
they going
you
to fight or fuck,
for sure. Yeah, you don't know how it's going to land. And again, I was sort of complicated by the comments, because I was like, because I was like, oh God, is she going to like cede it to him? Like, is
Yes.
that what's gonna, and
Mm-hmm.
he's not even gonna ask for it. She's just gonna like, here you go, daddy. And I was like, oh,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna like that.
Mm-hmm.
And but it also it's a mark of how well the book actually kind of portrays both sides of the relationship that you actually
Mm-hmm.
like, I actually don't know which way this is gonna go. Like
Yeah.
I
Mm-hmm.
don't know, is she gonna go like dark,
Mm-hmm.
and is this gonna be like actually this is the crux of the relationship, is the complete seeding, and
Mm-hmm.
that is like the full flowering of the story,
Mm-hmm.
or is it like no, she's actually in charge and has maybe kind of been in charge the whole time,
Yeah.
which to my mind was a much more satisfying end. But
A
I
hundred
I, I
percent.
would it
Yeah.
would actually be really interesting to see if she ever thought about the other version.
Yeah. I am curious because, like, it's not that I haven't read things like that where, again, the man in charge is still the man. I mean, in 50 Shades of Grey, the way it ends, he's still the millionaire. She's still the, whatever, or billionaire. She's still the wife or whatever.
Hmm.
He still has power in a way that she doesn't have. You know, there's other things where it's like, okay, I'm choosing to be with you. But in reality, it was like, oh, he like he has to choose to be with her. Like he's the one who is like, you
Mm-hmm.
know, and you it was very like they actively both participated in this choice of giving someone power in this perspective and giving someone power in this perspective, you know, and it was very satisfying to read.
Yeah. Yeah. And then, landing on, out there, Jasmine's in
Mm-hmm.
charge behind closed doors,
Yeah.
and it's status quo, daddy and baby girl.
Baby girl. Ugh.
Oh.
It feels wrong. I get it. I get it. I get it.
Like yeah, because I think you could do all of it. You could
Mm-hmm.
do all the dom sub stuff with literally without those phrases.
It's a
It's just not,
really, yeah. I mean, I will say during the pandemic, you know, I was curious about like doing audio erotica for extra money, as one
oh yeah,
is.
that's when it's
And I was like, you know, you go on like ACX and like or you know the Audible thing, and you just like see what's out there, and there was a huge influx of like daddy dom little girl stuff, and you know,
mm-hmm,
just having to like read it aloud, you know what I mean, and just like it's
mm-hmm,
so weird, but like but I don't know. I mean, I whenever I think of like Daddy Dom, I think of like Pedro Pascal, and he's like internet's daddy or whatever. You know,
sure. Well,
people
look, if
need their
they, if
daddies.
that's what we're thinking about, I might be back on board. I mean, Pedro Pascal,
He's
he's
gorgeous. Yeah,
gorgeous.
yeah.
Uh, um, yeah, weirdly, actually, I don't even know. Yeah, I don't know. It just it's not for me. It's not
I
for me,
get
but it
it.
doesn't have to be for everybody. That's fine.
I get it. I do like the idea of like brat though. Like he calls her like when she is like purposely pissing
Mm,
him off and like he calls her a brat.
sure.
I'm like that's great. I love the term brat. But yeah, when it comes to some things that like relate to your age or level of life experience, it's weird. 100% get it.
Sure. Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my god. All right, Mel, I'm going to have to ask you your final thoughts on this book. And I want you to give it a rating based
Mm,
on enjoyability, I would say,
mm-hmm.
if that's a word. You're going to rate it based on blood stained letter openers. 1 out of 5 blood
Mm-hmm.
stained letter openers means you didn't like it. 5 out of 5 means you
Mm-hmm.
loved it.
I like again having really jumped in. I feel like this was head and shoulders above where like, what I
Mm-hmm.
thought it was going to be, both kind of quality and like just again quality of the writing. Just basically, yep, that's a good sentence that,
Yep.
and I wanted to keep reading as opposed to like Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I didn't. There were very few little bumps like that, and the sex stuff is sexy.
Yeah,
Can't
it
like
is.
it is like she does a great job of, there's a variety of scenes, there's a variety of
Mm-hmm.
scenarios, there's a variety of like kinds of the way she describes things. So I think that would probably be interesting for most readers. But yeah, I think the thing that like drew me in the most, that kind of kept me engaged, was what were the relationships, what where was this sort of power dynamic, the power dynamic on top of power dynamics,
Mm-hmm.
like that, just that alone elevated it for me, and maybe there are a lot of other books that have done that, but
Mm-hmm.
obviously my first time. So
Yeah.
I'm, the only thing I can say against it is no parrot. So I'm gonna give it four and a half
That's a
bloodstained
good
letter
grade.
openers. Yeah.
I mean, I agree with you about the parrots. Not enough or any. And I will say, like, again, I think this is a really good example of showing power dynamics in this type of book and in this like how what it can be like. I think it's up there. I have read a lot of bad ones and I've read a lot of good
Hmm.
ones, and this is definitely a good one. I blew through it. I read it in like a day. I give it 5 out of 5 because I was just not a lot happens and it only happens in a few quick days, but you're still very engaged by the push and pull between the two of them. And
Hmm.
I loved this
Hmm.
book. I loved it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thoroughly enjoyed. I am oddly curious to okay, so if I enjoyed this one,
Hmm.
even though I am actually kind of curious enough to maybe read another
Hmm.
thing in of Katee Roberts' work.
Okay.
Is there any are there any other series that she's done that you would
Yes.
recommend? And or is there just like, okay, if you like this, check this out in
Okay.
general?
Well, Katie Robert does explore a lot with like power dynamics and a lot with like kind of like this like I want to say like fetish of
Hmm.
owning or letting yourself be owned and things like that. Like she does have the like Neon God series where it is like Persephone and Hades, and I read the Perseus and whoever his I forget who he falls in love with. It's Perseus and Psyche? Nope.
No,
Yes?
that's Eros and Psyche,
It's Eros and
Perseus,
Psyche.
and can't remember.
Cassandra.
That sounds
Cassandra?
right. That
Okay.
sounds right.
Which again, those were very good. I feel like it wasn't as intense, dare I say, as this book. Like this book, like there was a lot of sex,
Hmm.
and compare those books. I feel like some people are like, "Whoa, there's a lot of sex in it." For me, not as much. But she does have a series of books of monster romances where people full on
Hmm.
fall in love with a monster romance. And a book that I read of hers called The Dragon's Bride, where a woman, falls in love to like a half like dragon man humanoid thing who has two dicks.
Interesting.
And he says something, and he's very possessive of her. And again, you have this power dynamic, and he says something. And the one thing I remember from that book is like, he was like, they were playing a game of chase, like they do in this Aladdin book. And he was like, if any other man looks at you, I am going to kill them, and then I'm going to fuck him in your blood. And then I'm gonna fuck him in his blood. No, wait, and then I'm gonna fuck you in his blood.
There you go.
Wait, okay, I'm gonna say that. Okay, I thought it was. I said it aloud to like my sister in law who like reads these books, and she was like, "That's the hottest thing I ever heard." And I'm like, "You're not wrong.
I mean,
You're not
it's
wrong."
that there, if
I
we're
said it
basing
wrong
on just
just
like
now.
level
Yeah,
of intensity, although
yeah,
it would be so funny if this two-dicked dragon dude had fucked it
mhm,
up the first time.
yeah.
Yeah, like I'm gonna kill him and I'm gonna fuck him in, wait, no, hold on, sorry. I'm gonna fuck him and then I'm gonna kill him.
Yeah.
Hold on. No,
Nope,
no, 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 no.
nope, nope.
I'm gonna fuck shit.
Okay, wait, just remind 5 minutes ago, babe. And she's like, it's fine. I know what you meant. He's like,
I know
let
what
me
you meant. He was like,
finish.
oh, let me finish.
Oh, so
Oh.
sexy and hot with my two dicks.
That's the hottest thing I've ever heard. I mean, hey, takes all kinds.
Yeah, listen, I think that like she's out there like writing crazy, not crazy, but like, kind of like taboo stuff. And I do recommend, like, I think like, like with her later books, because she was like writing like, other books like before this book came out, that were more, I would say, traditional
Mm.
Harlequin kind of stuff. But then I think she just like went on her own and was like, I'm gonna write some crazy shit, and then suddenly there you go. And I think those books are worth it. I think they're worth reading.
Get into it. Get into it, folks. Maybe
Yeah,
you'll figure some shit out. It's a safe space here on your Kindle.
exactly. Safe space. Oh, Kindle's safe space, guys.
Yeah.
Mel, thank you so much for being a guest.
Becky, thanks so much for having me.
For links to purchase today's books, kindly check out the show notes or visit the episode page at tstlpodcast.com. If you'd like to read the genius summary I wrote, that's also available on the episode page. If you like Too Stupid to Live, you can help the show out by leaving a review on Apple Podcasts. And if you didn't like the show, why are you still here? Too Stupid to Live is part of the Culture Media Network. Thank you so much for listening and have a great rest of your day.